tells me otherwise. Dude, do I just look like a fucking Jabba the Hutt here or what? Oh my gosh.
No.
No, man.
All right, you guys ready?
You look much worse.
The widow's peak gone, dude.
Fucking my
Heard it.
fucking.
Yeah, look at you balding ass bags, dude.
What are you talking about?
Dude,
Hair up the
bald
wazoo.
spot, not in the back, not in the front. Oh,
Welcome back to another
we've been
episode
recording this whole
of
time.
Failure at its Finest Hour.
I forgot we were fucking recording, dude.
We do not have a full squad yet, I should say. Dylan is minutes away from joining.
Dude,
This
you
is
gotta try everything.
episode. No, it's okay, Chris. We'll leave it all in. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, perfect.
This is
Can't cancel
episode.
stuff, it's not me.
This is episode 19. The big 20 is coming very soon, and it's going to be very good. It will be just after Labor Day, which we'll be talking about here today. As look at that, Kirko is in the building.
Kirko is in chat.
We just started, so this is perfect timing. I was just letting everybody know that the next episode after this one will be episode 20, the big 20. Like
Holy
Aaron
fuck.
said, in the last episode, one more and we'll be old enough to drink. Our podcast will be old enough to drink, and I think for that episode we might have to get good and goosed.
I don't do that.
Good and
As
lazy.
if we don't. As if we haven't. Remember that episode where you're like, oh, whoa! After you drank like 6 Widow, how many Widowmakers did you drink? It's like, dude, you've been getting the whole fucking time.
I had quite a bit that night, I will say. That was the night where I was talking about those cruise ships, remember, Aaron? And
Yeah, back to the cruise ship.
Yeah, you were like, so anyways, those cruise ships, like 20 minutes after I was done talking about them. That was
No, the best was Aaron going, I turned.
I turned. Yeah, I put that in the
drinking a natural ice.
Put that in the end. So again, episode 19. Thank you for continuing to listen. We have been, like we said, shorthanded the last couple weeks, but our schedules have been wild. Kind of a shitty time of year, very busy, but we're going to be back in the saddle, although we have an episode called Back in the Saddle. But we're officially back in the saddle as a four-man.
Again. Yeah.
Unofficially.
Feels good, boys.
So I want to ask Chris and Dylan, since we haven't talked to you guys in a couple weeks, like, what's up? Anything new going on?
Dude, I've been busy as fuck. I don't know. I've mentioned on the podcast, but I started going to school again, and I'm working on this becoming a gunsmith. So I've been working my grade 10.
Back to get his grade 10.
Knock, Julian. Mr. Stupid, he fucking didn't get his grade 10. So working on that. So it's like 8-hour days. Tony, you get it. You work 2 jobs, but 8-hour days, then coming home, then being dad, and then doing school until like fucking 10 o'clock every night or midnight usually, because I wait and procrastinate. I've just been doing that. Been doing some fishing. The steelhead are running in Manistee. And so are the Kings. Yeah, Kings and Steelies are running already. So I closed another rod in the bed of my truck, so I got to get another fishing rod. But no, I'll go get after him.
Just classic.
What about you, Dylan? What's up, dude?
Man, I've also been very busy. Just doing army shit. Just, day-to-day life, going to the field, shooting, fucking blowing shit up. But
Nice.
Been busy for the past few weeks. I work pretty late during the week, so normally this is what time I get off every day. So
you said you were in the woods a couple weeks ago, weren't you?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Would you guys go camping?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, we didn't do
feel
it.
that?
We just slept out at where we were shooting, basically. So it
Wasn't
too crazy though.
a little night range. It's like fucking 3 a.m. and you're still sweating your dick off.
Oh, dude, it's the worst. I was
It's
at the end of the night. It's probably like 11. 11, PM midnight. And I finally like laid down. This is like the first night we were out there, and it was so fucking hot. Like I finally just like laid down like on like basically like just like a bag and just like laid on the ground, and I was just sweating my ass off, and I was like literally just in fucking underwear just laying there with like I was like no socks on, no shirt, and I just had bugs crawling all over me, but I was just sweating like profusely.
It's so hot down there you can catch a sunburn in the middle of at midnight out there.
like literally like 80, and it's
my
like
dog caught heat stroke at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, man.
Sucks, dude.
It was only for a couple days. It wasn't too bad. The first night was definitely the worst. After kind of improved a little bit, and it wasn't that bad. It was a little bit more windy the next few days, so there was a little bit more of a breeze. You know what I mean? So,
dude, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I hate to be that guy to say army stories, but I remember one time we were in Louisiana for like JRTC, which is like a big training event, and it was so fucking hot there, and like we were like on like it's like a big play army, like you're just playing war with a bunch of people, and we're on the top of this embassy, I guess you could call it, hyphenated, and it's so hot that I'm sitting up there. It's like midnight, and we're pulling night guard, and I just strip down to my fucking boxers and fall asleep on the top of this little like tower. And I wake up at 3 a.m. because I hear something. And there's like a whole platoon of like snipers, like a sniper platoon is up there. And they're all just like fucking set up. And I'm sitting there in my underwear, like, what the fuck?
It's like slowly putting your pants back on.
Yeah. So I'm like laying there, like
Don't see
booting
me,
my
don't see
pants
me.
on. Yeah. And then I'm just like, what's going on? And I finally like, work my way into the mix and go unnoticed. But man, it was crazy.
That's fucking hilarious. Speaking of, I mean, the YouTube, we got video and shit too now. So if you guys ever want to make like hand gestures or whip your cock out or something,
how many views?
Like 20, but it's a start.
That's not bad, dude.
We had like 5 before the videos, so
hey,
people are definitely starting to watch.
My YouTube account, I've been making YouTube videos for years, and I got 5 views on my best video. So, I mean,
stepping up in the world, hey?
Yeah.
Well, I figured since we talked about it last week, Aaron, I had the Porky's Fest. This past weekend, and it was pretty good. It was fun. It was shitty because like I had to work Saturday morning because I played Saturday at 1:30 in the chalet at the Porky's Fest, and I worked at UPS on Saturday morning and then had to drive pretty much straight to Ontonagon, like unpack our shit. I played a couple songs in the garage, and then we just had to leave right to the Porky. So I didn't really have time to like de-stress and like kind of assess the situation a little bit. So we got there, and I signed up, and I had like 30 minutes to just kind of do what I wanted and then head back to the chalet to like get sound check and shit going. So that was kind of shitty, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. I had my dad come up for one song, and it was so funny because I played 5 songs, and the 4th song was when my dad came up, but the 4th song was kind of around the time where like the bigger band on the main stage outside was playing. So after my dad and I played, like a bunch of people left to go watch like the main stage act. And we were just joking like all day that everyone was like, man, that guy fucking sucks. like talking about my dad. But it was a lot of fun. I had a good set. I played some new, like 3 new songs and then 2 old ones. But there was a lot of people that came in. It was cool. And then after that, we watched the Talbot brothers, who are really good, and I went to the busking barn. It's not really like that funny of a story, but there's this dude who was the closing act on Saturday night at the busking barn. He was like this small guy from Chicago, and he was good. He had really, really good energy and stuff, but we all kind of agreed that like he wasn't the greatest singer, but he had great energy, was a great guitarist. It was just one guy, and he was really funny. Like I said, he really knew how to like entertain the crowd. And like just before he was done, like I was with like Jake and Scott and my dad, my mom, and like just at the end he was like, oh, I got koozies and shirts outside. And we were like, fuck yeah, we're gonna buy some koozies. So my dad, his girlfriend's working like the merch bag I'm not gonna say merch table, because she just had like a garbage bag full of shit. And my dad goes up to her and goes, "Hey, you guys got koozies?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I don't really know how much they are." And my dad goes, "How about 2 for $10 or something like that?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." So I don't know if we got like a good deal or if we overpaid. But it was so funny. It was like 2 for 10, like just right away. And she didn't even say a price. And she was like, "Yeah, sure." So we got 2, and my dad gave her a 10 spot.
Classic shyster.
It was
Name your price.
it was
I'm surprised he didn't try to lowball her.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I
I thought you were
2
gonna say
for
2 for
$5.
3.
$2.
buy one get one free.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the guy's name was My Unknown Brother, and his koozies are actually pretty cool. So that's a good that's a cool cool garage koozie for sure.
Yeah, that's-
Cool plug. Cool plug. Maybe people listen to him.
Yeah,
My
he has a
unknown brother.
website. He said that he got myunknownbrother.com. So
But you said he sucks.
no, I didn't say that. I didn't
I'm
hear
just
like his
kidding.
recordings. Like he didn't have a bad voice. There was just times like you could tell that he had a specific range that he could sing at, and sometimes he
Gotcha.
would go above it, and he was a little shaky when he tried to go above his range. But like I said, he had great energy. He really got into the songs. Like he was just getting lost in all of the songs, and he had a couple funny. Like he wrote a song about alcohol and how like it was basically a song written about how it was kind of like a Luke Combsy kind of vibe, like beer never breaks my heart, like that shit. But he was just
Beer's always there.
yeah, alcohol was always there, and it's never gonna cheat on him. And he had like a couple like funny like one-liner bits, which I don't really mind. Like middle through a song, he just stops and starts talking and like tells a joke, and then he'll get back.
I like some crowd
like
work.
yeah, so it was pretty cool. And I
That's cool.
like I said, I don't know if my dad ripped him off or if
Hey,
he gave him a
would
good
regardless.
deal.
Hey,
He was
he made
playing-
$50 for the busking stage and $10 off you guys. That's profit.
He was playing for gas money to get back to Chicago.
Oh fuck,
Right.
$10 is gonna get him to Silver City from the Porkies.
Wait, you going to the next pump, buddy?
I wouldn't think a koozie would be more than $5 though.
No, yeah, I feel like it was probably the right price, but the girl's just like, yeah, sure.
Unless it's like a bullshit like Stormy Cromer one that's like fucking way overpriced.
Yeah.
I got a $38 Stormy Cromer koozie.
But
Yeah, right.
then the main stage closed around Saturday because the festival's only 2 days now, Friday, Saturday, but it was the Slambovian Circus of Dreams.
Oh.
Remember those fucking
Yeah.
guys?
Turkey.
I love those dudes. That
They
was
actually-
those guys are fucking ass cheeks on a fucking. That guy's suck, dude.
Dude, it was so funny. He was telling a story. Gandalf was like, oh shit, you guys there? Sorry, I think I might have just bugged there. But
Yeah, what happened, dude?
I thought it was
Gandalf,
Storm.
How was
ripping.
their set, bro? How was
it was
their
actually
set?
it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty good.
Was it moving?
I mean, some people were complaining because they were playing like a bunch of slow songs. So it was like, there was a huge crowd like down by the stage. Like the only time anyone kind of got up out of their seats and like went down to actually dance. There was a huge crowd in front of the
Nice.
stage. But like they
Pretty
just
big
kept
lesbo mosh pit.
they just kept they just kept playing slow songs. But it's just so funny how like, it was their their last time playing for their tour. Like that was the last stop, and he had just got done talking about how they were in the UK playing for $35K plus, and then he's like,
Sure. Yeah, right.
but he was like, you know what? We were just playing in the UK for 35,000 people, but I tell you what, this crowd right here, this is what makes the tour. And everyone was like,
He's full of
yeah,
shit, dude.
sure.
Yeah,
I was
a
like,
little
yep,
bit.
that's
A little
true.
bit of pandering to your audience.
Yeah.
Audience
I know,
never hurt
it's
nobody.
such bull, and everyone's just like cheering, like, oh my god, we love you. And I was like, wow,
They're like, they're
you're
so
fucking,
good.
you guys are stupid.
So I will
We're
tell you
so
guys.
good that you've never heard of us.
I'll tell you guys a quick story about them. The first time, I think it was in 2012 was the first time I went. It was like my first year of community college. And
Hell yeah, bro.
and that was my first, like, I volunteered. I played at the busking barn by myself.
I thought you said you volunteered for college.
No,
Community college?
I volunteered to work the festival, and they had me like running the busking barn, which was cool. because I got to see like 14 Lund sets, which is awesome. But
50 States of Lund.
Yeah, so when but then like the busking stage ended and they needed help at the main stage, so I went over there and like pseudo helped stage manage, which at that festival is nothing compared to what I've done now. But at the time it was the coolest. It was like my first real experience in the music industry, and that was what I think at that time I had picked a major and I was like, okay, or maybe it was before I picked a major, I don't really remember. But what I do remember is Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams. The lead singer needed his guitar tune, and I was like, I got you. This is my jam. So I tuned this guy's guitar, and then so they play their shtick. And at this point they were playing like in the afternoon. They weren't like the late set yet, and they're like, oh yeah, later a couple of us are gonna go down to the beach and have a bonfire. You guys should all come down, get the whole stage crew down. He's like, my girlfriend's got a bag of mushrooms, and we're just gonna go down there and whatever, talk to the stars, whatever. And that broad had a gallon Ziploc freezer bag.
Oh my gosh.
Mushrooms. And I laughed. I just at that time I was just like, oh, this is kind of how it's gonna be. And since then I've seen on musicians and festivals and stuff like that, I've seen more drugs than I can even explain. But it was just like at first I was like, oh, this dude's serious about his mushrooms.
I didn't know they got down like that.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, they are.
But I also find it hard to believe that even 35,000 people know of them.
Yeah.
They probably played at a major festival that they got some jam, because they're a pseudo jam band in a way. And so they probably went to some jam band festival and played right before the headliner played.
Yeah.
And so then they just had everybody there waiting at the guardrail. So
I would say it was cool. Scott Frazier played at 6 for Saturday night in the Chalet, which was a fantastic time because the performer after him was actually a famous Sweden musician. It was a girl. So she like came in with like her band and was listening to Scott. And then while Scott was playing, Gandalf and the crew, they were setting up on the main stage, and Gandalf and the guitarist poked their head through when Scott was playing, and Gandalf he was like looking over the door, and Scott was like in the middle of a song. He was playing really well, and Gandalf was like head nodding and stuff, and then you had to leave to like go pack some more shit up. But
praise Grandmaster Gandalf.
It was really cool to see. It was really cool to see. But I will say too that the busking barn, I still will say it, I think that's still my favorite fucking thing about that festival.
Agreed.
There was so many people this year that I had no idea who they were. Like they were all from out of town, and it was just like these really small, because like there was a couple guys that were fucking amazing that were in there, and it was just like this one kid said that was his first time ever playing like in front of people, and he was amazing, and he wrote us all of his own songs, and it was kind of like I can't remember the guy's fucking name, but it was all like really soft like love songs kind of, but he would like have this nice raspy yell almost in some of his songs, and when he tried to get up higher, but he sounded really, really good, and just the vibe in that place is fucking awesome. I'm sure that they busted into Gandalf's mushroom bag, but it was so funny. My dad and I, we went and watched for a little bit after I played, and we were in the smoking area because we were smoking cigars like right after we played. And,
classic.
We're sitting there, and all of a sudden I smell fucking dope, and I look over, and some guys are sitting next to us like smoking a fucking joint. He like looks over and he's like blowing it out, and he's just like head bobbing to the music. And the fucking smoking section was like almost right next to the barn, so like everyone in that barn must have smelled acid cigars and fucking dope. It was so funny.
I bet your dad probably smoked 60 cigars that day.
I think he had like 2.
Just having a cigar.
Yeah, no, that's his thing now. He fucking.
You guys want another one?
When we were all in your garage, dude, he was just like lighting them off the ends of one another, dude. He went through like a whole case himself.
Smoking them like a fucking pack of Black Cats.
So anyways, the meat and potatoes of this episode, since of course this weekend, also happy Thursday because this is releasing Thursday this week. We're just a few days away from good old Labor Day.
Oh boy.
So let's thank the union. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Is that who we thank? For Labor Day?
Oh, who you
Labor
think?
union.
Dude,
I'm gonna jump on it.
I was reading an article and it said that back in like the 1800s, like mid 1800s, during like the Industrial Revolution, people were working fucking 12-hour days, 7 days a week. Holy fuck, dude. No wonder they had a Labor Day, for Christ's sake. My
Yeah,
God.
actually, one of the reasons I believe Labor Day is so coveted in the UP, I guess I'll paraphrase on what I heard from somebody else, but like back in the day, labor unions kind of like started in mining communities because before mining was like all subsidized. Like basically you mined and they paid for your house, they paid for your food, and they gave you like these credits that you could buy stuff from the mining company. Like they put you in these homes,
Yeah.
and all these miners were like, there were like kids working down there and people were fucking dying.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's where apparently my grandpa Ron says that's where some of the biggest unions in America started. And that's why Labor Day is so cherished in the
Yeah,
town
'cause
in Ontonagon.
Now that you say like children, is it a lot of it, Aaron? I know you're doing research right now, but isn't some of it
Yep.
for child labor too?
Yep. So it says I'm on history.com here, which mind you, it's like historychannel.com. So they're also the ones that put out Ancient Aliens. So maybe fact check this
Take it with a grain of
further.
salt. Yeah.
Yeah. It says in the late 1800s, at the height of the Industrial Revolution in the United States, the average American worked 12-hour days and 7-day weeks in order to eke out a basic living. I mean, these people were eating crumbs for their lunch
That's
break.
crazy.
They were smoking cigarettes for their lunch break. It says, despite restrictions in some states, children as young as 5 or 6 toiled in mills, factories, and mines across the country, earning a fraction of their adult counterparts' wages. So it says people of all ages, particularly the very poor and recent immigrants, often faced extremely unsafe working conditions with insufficient access to fresh air, sanitary facilities, and breaks. So if we know anything about is the UP, it was built on the backs of immigrants, and especially like the big mining boom.
Mm-hmm.
It was all Finlanders, and I mean basically Finlanders, Cornish, like Welsh, that sort of thing.
French, a lot of French.
Yep. And
a lot of Dagos.
So during this
Sorry.
see in September 5th, 1882, 10,000 workers took unpaid time off to march from City Hall to Union Square in New York City, holding the first Labor Day parade in U.S. history. The idea of a working man's holiday celebrated on the first Monday of September caught on in other industrial centers across the country, and many states passed legislation recognizing it. Congress would not legalize the holiday until 12 years later, when a watershed moment in American labor history brought workers' rights squarely into the public's view. On May 11th, 1894, employees of the Pullman Palace Car Company in Chicago went on strike to protest wage cuts and the firing of union representatives. So it goes into railroads. Grover Cleveland signed it into law in 1894. And for us, Labor Day is a tried and true UP holiday that is celebrated by,
I was gonna say,
in Ontonagon by people from like St. Ignace.
What it means. I was gonna say what it means for us is it's a great excuse to just get fucking shit canned 4 nights in a row because we have Monday off. That's pretty much what it is for us. You just describe all of that, and we're just like, yeah, it's a good time to get fucked up.
Honestly, dude, like after you explain it like that, it makes me want to celebrate it even more because like you're like fucking A, right?
Yeah,
the working man needs a day.
I feel so disconnected too because my girlfriend Amelie is gone on a photo shoot, or excuse me, she's gone to a bachelorette party from Friday night until Monday.
Oh my gosh.
And I am on call at work and I have to feed the cat. And so I'm stuck here when this would be literally the perfect weekend for me to drive all the way up there and raise some hell, and I can't do it. And I'm trying to figure out how to celebrate it on my own here, and nothing is going to come even remotely close.
Yeah,
you just kill the cat.
I'm on call at work. It's the work thing that I'm stuck in.
Oh, quit your job, man. It's Labor Day.
It's the weekend.
Quit your job. It's Labor Day.
We get the weekend off, but it's just because it's a fucking federal holiday.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not going to be, it sucks because, that quote from Ed Helms from The Office when he's like, I wish you knew, I wish when you were in the good times, like you would know you were in the good times, or I'm not, I'm not saying it right, but really that's really what Labor Day has come to now. Cause it's not as great. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. But it's definitely not ever, I think, going to live up to, the last like 5 years. Cause it was just, holy fuck. I mean,
Even that, dude, like I enjoyed it so much as a kid. It was like probably my highlight of my childhood summer was going down to Labor Day, getting $20 from your fucking parents and buying as many fart bags and cab guns and potatoes as you can.
Yep.
And you just run amok as a shitty little kid and burn a hole in your parents' wallet. And it's the funnest day ever before school starts.
Right. I was going to say, and as a kid, that was really like the last weekend to get out and do
And
something.
as you grow up, you're like,
school.
yeah, you'll grow up, you're like, fuck, this sucks now. So now we're just getting drunk to celebrate Labor Day.
Yeah. I mean, I got a picture from Chase because Dallas, now that he's living in town, like it's going to be easier for us to hang out and stuff. Chase sent a picture yesterday of his back tailgate, and he had about 4 12-packs in his back tailgate, and he's fired up, revved up to come down.
There you go.
Or to come up, I should say. And like I said, Dallas will be there. Nick was like, just like, fuck, dude. He's like, I wish I could go so bad. But for us this year, I think it's just going to be, because I'm not going to get there until Saturday afternoon, which in like 5 years ago, that would have been a crime to show up.
Oh yeah, dude.
A Labor Day on a Saturday. I already be like 2 days late to the vendor. But I do think that now it's a safe bet to show up Saturday, go Saturday, Sunday instead of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a little bit of Monday, Bloody Marys. I'll never forget though.
You gotta ease back into the work week.
I'll never forget though. Like, I guess we should tell the listener kind of like what really it was like. So Thursday was a day for people that were determined. You knew Labor Day was coming up. Everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean like a group of like probably, I would say close to 15 people. Either at my parents' house or just meeting up like downtown. But everyone had that Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and of course Monday was the ultimate recovery day. But if you really wanted to enjoy yourself and really experience Labor Day, Thursday night was where it started. And then you wake up, obviously you don't have to work Friday. You get up Friday, and that's the day where you don't necessarily have to start right away. But again, if you're determined, no one would look at you and say like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? If you crack a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning, like it was just what you did. So you go on your day Friday. Friday was usually, I want to say like maybe like a street dance Friday night. Not really sure. Then Saturday, Saturday was really the day that you would wake up and right away you just hair the dog. I have a story. I remember Luke when he was in his band. They were practicing in the garage because they were going to play music downtown at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was about 9:30, 10 in the morning. They were practicing in the garage. And at this time, I think they were juniors or seniors in high school. Nick gets up, goes into the garage because that's where all the floor coolers were. And they were literally mid-song. He goes, he might have been in his underwear. I can't remember. He goes into the garage. He opens up one of the coolers. He grabs a beer, opens it, and they all are like playing. And then they like kind of like stop. And they're just, Luke's like, Nick, what are you doing? He's like, grabbing a beer. And he's like, you guys want one? They're like fucking 16, 17 years old. And I remember my mom was just like, Nick. But that
breakfast
was just
is the most important drink of the day.
Yeah, and that is Saturday. So then Saturday you have what Chris was talking about is Maxwell Street Day. And that is where the streets used to be. I say used to be lightly because they haven't had a Labor Day. Well, they had it last year, but it's kind of, ever since
used to be
COVID,
shoulder to shoulder.
Even like the years before COVID, it was kind of declining. You could tell. So I don't know. This
It'll
year,
be loaded this year.
Maybe because all class was this year. So usually when all class is in the same year, Labor Day is a little shittier. But Saturday afternoon, like Chris was saying, you go down. There's vendors and there's music now downtown, like by the museum.
It's all bullshit. I mean, they're
it
selling junk.
is, and like you
It's
have
all crap.
your classic overpaid homemade jewelry.
Yeah.
You have
$14. Oh no, the thing is about
sunglasses tents.
yeah, dude.
Like shit
Every
like
antique store just has an antique tent.
Yeah,
They're just selling more shit outside.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you have
It's like, oh, fucking jam. I want some of your fucking jam. I
Yep.
want some of your fucking pickled beets.
Yep. And then you
then,
have like a few other food. There's that one like that they sell like Chicago dogs and shit.
Oh, fuck that, dude. Literally the only highlight of food in Ontonagon is the fire halls, brats, burgers,
Is the
and dogs.
friggin'
That
fire hall, dude.
Is true.
Dude.
Yeah.
And that's fucking it. No, there's no fucking vendors other than that, like for food. Like, what's there to eat? Well, there's a line of 50 people at the fire hall. That's
No,
about all
dude,
you
they got the Chicago dog tent, dude. That's new. They got like a little.
Fucking one other tent.
They got a rig on wheels for Chicago dogs, but the
Nice.
fire hall, yes,
I do love the fire hall dogs, though. I
yeah,
mean,
and the burgers. It's a staple. You have
Yeah.
to.
and
You
it's
have
$3
to.
fucking bucks, dude. $3
Yeah.
for a burger. Like, you can't pay $3 for a burger or brat anywhere.
And the
these
best thing about going there is seeing all the firemen that are just hung over as shit and all just so pissed that they have to go down there and work all day.
Sweating over your buns. Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
story from a Saturday is my dad. I remember waking up one morning. It was probably like 9:30, 10. And, there were a couple people up and getting after it. And all of a sudden, my dad had just gone wild the night before. And he had to be at the fire hall like 9:45. And it was like 10:15 at this time. And I hear like, and it's my dad. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh my God, he's in his fireman shirt and jeans or in shorts. And he's like, oh my gosh. And he like opens the fridge, like grabs a water and he like turns around, looks at me and goes, I think I'm still drunk. And he just left because he had to go work at the fire hall. And that's like the best, going down there, getting the burger, getting the dog. And all those guys are just still drunk or hungover. And they're just like, oh, here's your fucking hamburger.
Dude, could you imagine how fucking scary it would be to be partying your balls off all fucking night, and then you wake up at 3 a.m. and half of the town's on fire and you have to go put it out?
Circa
Could you
2008.
Dude,
Yep.
For the listeners who aren't or familiar with Ontonagon, Labor Day weekend 2008, a little mishap happened and a big fire occurred. And I think it burnt down like half of Main Street, like maybe a quarter of Main Street.
It wasn't half or quarter. It was like 4 buildings, so I guess that is half.
Which is
no, there was
burned 4 open businesses.
There
The
was-
rest of them were just abandoned.
There was Camp 1, and then across the street there was the old Connie's, right, where they sold
Yep.
DVDs and shit. And then there was 2 other buildings that I think were vacant.
Apartments. One of them was like
Or,
there was a couple apartment
yeah.
units in it. Yeah.
Meth
But
labs.
it's a
They're
big-
all meth labs.
Well, that was the rumor that was going around that the fire had been caused by someone that actually, if you remember from our first episode when we were talking about that house that blew up that we saw and reported, it was the same individual that owned the building that had started the fire.
Yeah.
But it knocked
Yeah.
down like 3 or 4 buildings. And Chris, like you can continue, but it was a good little pocket of downtown.
Yeah, it
Biggest-
was. I just remember my mom. We were watching from my grandma's house at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and you could see the flames over. You could see the building completely on fire, and the wind was bringing the flames towards Crystal Oil, the gas station there. And that was their main concern, was extinguishing it before it got to the bank and then the gas station there. But my dad said that him, Eugene, and Scott were in one of the buildings upstairs putting out, like looking for people and like clearing the rooms, and like the floor was sagging. And my dad said that the only thing that was holding the guys up was the carpet because everything else was burnt out. So then they
And
got the fuck out of there, and the building collapsed like immediately after.
I was gonna
that.
say below them was fucking Satan's pit.
Mhm.
They would have been just toast if that would have came.
Yeah.
I remember your dad telling that story, how it was just literally no floorboards, nothing. It was the fucking carpet that was still stitched together. Somehow
Yeah.
still stable for them to walk on. But like you said, Chris, when they found out it was just the carpet. I do have, and again, shout out to the YouTube, follow us on YouTube. I have the video. I do apologize. It's 2008 and it's just, the quality is not there. But
There's no point
if
for the
you
floorboards in my house.
if you know if you're from Ontonagon, you know this, but
Fuck.
this is essentially what we're talking about. Is
That's the intersection there.
It was literally 3:00 in the morning, 8:31, 2008.
Okay.
Oh, 6 a.m. The lady just said in the video. And we were just talking about how the firefighters are usually fucked up the day after. So at 6 a.m. on this day, I mean,
Right.
you got a bunch of dudes fucking sweating out bush lights fighting this. And
fighting the worst fire
What
probably
are you
since
doing?
August 25, 1896, when the Diamond Match Company like burned the entire town down.
The Great Diamond Match Fire.
so that was in 2008. Thankfully, every year it always gets brought up. I feel like, somebody's got to bring it up, even if you're a fireman or like, oh, you're gonna get too drunk tonight, just in case. But that was so Saturday, like
down.
like we're saying, Saturday is Saturday used to be fun as kids, but now it's just, you get, again, you're just tipsy walking downtown looking at little kids buy potato guns essentially. And then now there's they have music usually at the bars, which this year my dad's Easy Money, here's a plug for the weekend, they're playing at the Eagles on Saturday night. And then, which is just classic now. And then I do believe Spun is playing at the Squeeze on the deck outside. So that'll be another band.
During the day?
No.
They're playing?
It's at
Oh, I was
night.
gonna say.
It's at night. But here's Chris unmuting himself. Is he with a smirk? Were you gonna say something?
Did you just fucking plug Easy Money, dude?
Yeah, dude. They're playing at the Eagles, man. Show up like 8:00 Saturday night. But
Sold out the show, dude.
There's probably a band playing at Stubbs, but then Sunday is actually isn't bad. Sunday's fun. There's a parade at 11.
That's a parade. Yeah.
That you see 2 floats, 14 side by sides, and 2 logging trucks and a couple fire trucks.
All parades are at the UP is just heavy equipment companies advertising. Jim's towing, John's logging.
Yep.
10 fire departments.
Gets around the back of a trailer, just honking his fucking big rig that he's pulling it with.
I don't know, dude. Ontonagon, dude. People actually make floats though. Like,
yeah, and again, what we're saying now, like Labor Day, like 10 years ago, was fucking awesome. Like so many floats, so many committees and businesses, corporations like around the area that made floats. But now it's just like the snowmobile club, the golf course. The Bowers always crush it in the float game. They have a big crew that works. But we have
sorry.
All right, well, come on, guys. We got video here too. They can see the smirks. I'm gonna have to cut that too. Fuck. What's the time? Son of a bitch. I said Bowers, and you guys all fucking smiled. And then Aaron said, that's a big and then he stopped.
What?
42 minutes.
I was about to say it was a big family. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
no bullshit. No.
Was the float big? Was the back part of the float large?
All right. 3, 2, 1. And there is, I think that might be it, honestly. So like now it's only like three people that make floats. And like Chris, you said, it's just logging equipment, side by sides, and fire trucks. But that's fun time to get out because there's actually something going on. It's not just a bunch of perverts selling cap guns. But
yeah,
then Sunday is the classic rec center, which that was
sweat your ass off. It's the biggest sauna of all time.
It's pretty much what is happening on the main street, and just everyone just goes into the fucking building, including the cap gun sellers. Yeah.
And
Easy Money plays in there. You got your raffles, and
It's just
all
a
that.
place where it's just Labor Day with alcohol, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but now, of course, the tradition carries on that Sunday, usually in my brother's fantasy league. That's when we have our draft. So that always gets thrown in too on Labor Day weekend. Something that I'm always excited for is that fantasy draft, which is it's going to be at 5:00 on Sunday this year. So it's like
Can you live stream it on Twitch?
right before the rec center. Right before the rec center. Actually, I might, because we're going to be Zooming with the guys that can't make it. That wouldn't be a bad fucking first YouTube video. Get a little draft action in there. But yeah, and then Monday is probably the worst day of the year, I must say. I'll never forget a story that I have from a Monday is we went to Roxy's, which, you know, when you're hungover, like you want like greasy food and stuff, but when you're really on like a big weekend like that, I have to say that's probably the worst choice to do. I remember eating, and as soon as I got done, there's 2 outhouses in between Roxy's and that other building that's to the left of it. And I almost fucking took off from that outhouse because I was shitting my absolute brains out. And I continued to for the rest of the day. And that's just kind of what happens on Sundays. Or on Mondays, excuse me. So hopefully this year it's not going to be too bad since I only have like the 2 days, but I guess we'll find out. Timestamp this.
Chris get disconnected.
No, he just left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, right before we were going to fucking rank the seasons.
Yeah. I think I had one.
Do you have any stories? Because I just kind of ended on a good. I just was saying how Monday is like.
Yeah.
I think I was like,
I
yeah. Go ahead.
The only major thing that I like I think it was one of the best and one of the worst Labor Days of all time was, I think it was that same year that Luke's band was playing down there, and I remember coming up on like a Wednesday. Like, I think this was like you were back from college or something, or I don't remember what you were doing, but I remember I think that might have been the time where we like went the Coors can time, because I showed up way early for Labor Day. And we just kept it rolling the entire weekend. And I remember Nick like at 9 a.m. cracking a beer. And I remember waking up that Monday, and it was just like, because it was every single night. We didn't miss a beat. And I remember waking up that Monday thinking to myself, it's over. It's done.
It's finally
I've completed like I don't need to consume any more filth for the weekend. And that was like the last major Labor Day that I had been to. I think like I had been to some after that, but that time was like, it was everybody.
Was that like when Christ and Emily and them came too?
I think it must have been.
I
remember it being like a 6-day event, because I got there on a Wednesday, and then I like left on Monday or left on even Tuesday or something like that. And it was just like
messed up.
It was absolutely brutal, but I got my money's worth.
Oh, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
And we always talk about the stories of us getting up, because usually when you do start that early and then you get to Sunday, and Sunday is such like a big day for the weekend, you know, you have the parade, the rec center. Like I said, usually the draft is that night for us, at least like Nick's friend group. But Sunday morning, we always talk about and laugh how, I think it was Nick, how when he went into the garage, and again, like I was talking about before, when you get up that early, like, and it's Labor Day, you got to go for it. So you just head to the cooler right away, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I remember Nick opened the fridge like slowly, and like grabbed a beer, and he was like looking at it, and he just went, and then cracked the beer. Fucking sighed before he opened it, and he cracked it, and it was just like the funniest shit ever because we all heard him, and we were just, oh my god, that's such a memory.
That and there was another day. It might have been that weekend. I think Chase and Dallas were there, and we were all sitting like in the garage around the table, and somebody like walks up with a beer that like didn't drink right away, and they crack one, and I think it was you. It was either you or Nick, but somebody said you have to like
yeah. Oh my
like,
gosh.
like after side, he's like, I gotta do it. Like I have no choice.
That is so funny. That was probably Nick.
And it wasn't like a joke, like, oh yeah, you have to, but it was like it's like going to work. Like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta do it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what it feels like.
Oh my gosh, such a chore.
And then I think the last memory, really funny memory, I think it was the last time Nick was here for Labor Day. It was when Adam forgot his moped at her house for like a few months. And like after a while, he was just like, yeah, you guys can rip around in it. Like, I'm going to sell it in a couple weeks anyway. You guys can have it for the next couple weeks. Mind you, that thing was fucking awesome. I almost bought it off his hand. I was like, I might take this, but I was just like, I can't. So we had it for a couple weeks, and it was during that time, which was a terrible time for us to have a moped. It was Labor Day weekend, but it was like Saturday afternoon, I think. You know, we ran out of beer, and Nick and Chase hopped onto the moped and went down to Holiday, and Nick had his like hat on, like his beekeeper hat, and I think he had a backpack on. I don't know why, maybe to hold the beer. And they were driving down the fucking street, and Chase was like snugged up behind him, grabbing his waist, like just them two. It was like Dumb and Dumber, the moped that they have. But they were, since they had the backpack, Nick looks, he looks Middle Eastern, and he looks foreign. They were screaming,
this is so bad.
Allah Akbar, with the fucking backpack on the back, and I have the video of it.
So
and
terrible.
It's so bad, but it's so funny. I mean, our sense of humor, and it was just, they weren't saying it like in front of people, at least I don't think, but they pulled into the driveway after they had gotten the beer, and it was just, that's just I'll never forget that.
Our podcast is for sure getting pulled if this airs. Nick's gonna lose his job.
I'm sure I'm sure. You don't know what's going on. I mean, I could ask him if he wants to cut that. So that'd be very unfortunate if we did.
Talking about was like 2014. I think that was my favorite one as well.
That was a good year, because that was like right when I graduated. And so it was like the time where, when you're in high school and like your parents, like my mom and dad, at least, like they didn't trust me all that too much, and like fantastic choice for them. And they only really let me do anything if Aaron was with me, because they knew Aaron was responsible. But that was like the year where they were like, well, I mean, he's going to be away from us doing this shit, so might as well just let him have it. But that was kind of the time too where I wasn't able to go to the bars, which wasn't like the worst thing, because I don't know, when I was that age, like I know people say like, you want to go to the bars when you're young and stuff, but I enjoyed the shit out of like doing garage hangs, and still do to this day.
Another thing, side note on Labor Day, man, we can't even get out of this topic. We never mentioned the Labor Day bees.
Yeah, that is very true. I'll hit the backstory. You can
fill in some commentary.
Throw in the last bit, but every year during the parade, there's, and it's not just us drinking either. Like, we're not that degenerate human being. Like, everyone in the whole county is doing this, and so the streets are absolutely littered with Busch Light cans, Miller Light cans, Coors Light cans. Garbages are just fucking volcanoes. Yeah. Pop cans from the fire hall, cotton candy in the streets. And really, if you think about it, this is the worst time for bees. Like the fall, like once fall starts, it's really like when bees start to get aggressive, because they're starting to die, really. and they come out full force. And every single year, I remember it was always Nick that would joke around about the Labor Day bees. And because every time you're down at that parade, one's going to zip by you and you're going to be like, holy fuck, there they are. Because if you're ever downtown, like not on Labor Day, well, you'll never see bees. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a fucking bee on Main Street of Ontonagon besides on Labor Day. So every Labor Day when you're down there watching the parade, a bee always zips by you. And so ever since the first couple years we saw him, Nick always referred to him as the Labor Day bees.
Oh man. And there is somebody who will remain unnamed that has started and if you don't have Twitter, you need to go follow us at FAIF Hour on Twitter. But there is a Labor Day Bees Twitter account. We may or may not know who this person is.
And we promise you, because I know this weekend the account will become active once again. And we will retweet and like all of the posts from Labor Day Bees, but we promise you that it is none of us. And it's not even somebody that's living in the UP.
Correct. But that is just, there's some great comedy there. And so I think you just need to get on Twitter and tweet your Labor Day bee pictures. If you're tweet at us, and we will put a link to the Labor Day Bees Twitter, and we will, light up the the bee signal for the Labor Day Bees Twitter to come out of retirement, and maybe we can get a Facebook page going.
Yeah,
achieve that, and we can drop that in the you're from Ontonagon when page.
Yeah, and I thought you were going to tell the story. Were you there when the account was created and first stuff? I thought you were going to talk about that. When we were like, we all thought it was each other.
Yeah, everybody was pointing fingers. I don't remember the full story. I remember being there for it, and I remember we like eventually discovered who it was.
Yeah, I remember getting a notification on my phone that said the Labor Day Bees started following you like on Twitter, and I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, who the fuck is this? And so we're all just pointing fingers like, you did this. Like, no, I didn't. You did this. And we had a group of like I said, like 10, 15 people, and everyone was claiming that it wasn't them. And we were just like freaking out, like, who the fuck is this? We thought somebody was trolling us. Then we were like, no, somebody in this group definitely made it. And then all of a sudden, all the invites or all the follows started happening. Like someone was like, oh, I just got to follow too. And again, we may or may not know who it is, but we have a good idea. And it was somebody that was not in our group. But it was so funny where we're all just all weekend. It's you. I know it's you. And all day or all weekend too, the tweets were just so good. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Who's ready for the parade? Oh my gosh. That's classic shit right there.
Oh man. So for our, probably what is our last little segment here, we got to talk about some seasonal changes.
Yeah, so we have a very big episode coming up. It's going to be our transitioning into fall. We've been talking about it the last few episodes. It's finally coming. We can fucking put it on a banner. It's going to be next Tuesday, excuse me. It will be our transitioning into fall as we're going to hit September. Well, today, technically, you're listening to this on Thursday. Happy September 1st. But I wish Chris was here. We should have done this when Chris was here, but I wanted to just ask you guys, you can do, Dylan, I know you're in Louisiana, so there's not that many seasons as we have, but do a kind of a rank the seasons segment, and we'll get Chris's input next week. But yeah, kind of dive into, you can pick your favorite and then kind of talk about, why you do like a certain season or why you don't. I guess
I'll start.
You can start. I was going to say.
Yeah. So I would say hands down fall is my favorite, just because multiple different reasons, like, fucking football season starts. My favorite weather, like towards the middle and end of the fucking fall, all the hunting seasons start. Like, it's just kind of like a snowball effect of like good shit happening. I know like winter's coming. So like, obviously if you're up north, it's a lot different. It's like you have to mentally prepare for the snow, but I just like the fall, the colors, like I said, just like the temperatures are normally like just my favorite at that time of year.
Mm-hmm. Actually, holy shit. What timing. Chris Shiner is back in the building. This is such a perfect thing. Chris, once you can get in and hear us, okay, you can hear me now. We're about to close it out. We have about 10 minutes left. We're doing a rank the season segment that is pretty much going to be like a teaser into next week's episode, because I was just telling the listeners that next week will be our transitioning into fall episode. So I figured since we're getting to that point, we're going to rank the seasons. Dylan just went. Dylan, do you want to talk about maybe a second, third, and fourth?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that while you were talking. But my second summer, obviously, like summertime, like it's warm. You can go swimming if it's warm enough. You can do, I got a lot of good memories in summer. Winter, honestly, was probably my third, just because of like, it's hockey season. I always just kind of like the winter time. The snow sucks, but it's just like one of my, Christmas time, holiday season. And then for some reason, I just fucking hate spring. I don't know why, but I just do. It's messy. It's wet. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good list. It's similar to mine, but my one is summer. Just because winter is the worst. I don't like anything involved with the winter. The driving is fucking horrible. I hate driving in the winter. I always say that if the roads were always bare, it could be the nastiest blizzard in the world. But if the roads were always bare and I could like set my cruise even in a blizzard, I would if I could. So winter is definitely last. Summer is number one, just because I'm a beach guy. Love the beach, even though this year was a shitty summer because the water was freezing up until maybe a few weeks ago. And now that the weather is kind of starting to turn, limited beach days this year, but when I get there, man, it's fucking awesome. Plus bonfires. I mean, that whole drinking outside, like in a t-shirt, on the deck, porch, just those summer nights, can't beat it. I'm going to have to go fall second, just because once summer, like if it's hot enough, I will say when it cools down, it feels really, really good. And like you said, Dylan, even though we know winter's coming, it's still gorgeous. The colors, football. Spring almost was my worst, because I agree with you, Dylan. But again, where we're from, like spring just means that the winter is over, and that's why it takes three for me. But I will say that spring is the worst, because we get those springs where the snow will start to melt, and then we'll get
fall spring
fucking pounded with a snowstorm and get like two more feet. And we're like, spring's over, I guess. But it's like April, and we're like, okay, it shouldn't be over. Winter should be over, but it's not.
Remember, this April is 80 degrees for a week.
Yeah, like I know there's memes. People always like joke about
it literally happened.
Michigan seasons. I forget what it is, but it's like winter, fake spring,
almost winter.
almost winter, then winter number two.
Yeah.
Then it's like fake summer. Chris, you were just talking about when it's like 80 degrees in April. Then it's like third winter, and then it's spring, and then it's a fake summer again, and then spring. It's true though. It's honestly true.
And then summer is road construction season. Like,
yeah.
Just everything's clogged up.
It's either snow on the roads or fucking orange cones. It's about it.
Yeah, Tone, my rankings are identical to yours. Literally. Summer, fall, best times of the year. Spring spring is better than winter, because winter's over.
Yeah.
Winter is just pain and suffering. Like, winter's cool until New Year's is over.
Yeah.
And then I got Abel's birthday in January, Kayla's birthday in February, and then it's just fucking cold.
That February
days.
to June is tough.
Yeah.
It's like fucking tough.
I'd say February to like April. I like it. Like May is a little bit better than June, but like that time there is just like blistering cold. It's not even snowing anymore. It's just cold days. and there's
Mhm.
nothing to do, and you're just like, when the fuck are we gonna get over this shit?
I'll never forget, Chris, this past winter. I think it was, I wish I would have known what month it was and what day it was, but I remember you were like outside and all the snow was gone. Maybe you had like a couple snowbanks on the sidewalks and stuff, and you were
Mhm.
on your porch and you were like just panning around your yard, and you were just like, I think it's over.
No, dude, I was almost when I
Talking
was
about
taking that video, dude, I was almost crying. I was so happy. There's like tears in my eyes. I'm like, holy fuck. I can
Okay.
hear birds chirping.
I think we did it, guys. And it's literally, that's how we feel at the end of the
We
year,
made
or,
it.
or in the middle of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So my my ranking, my ranking is fall at number one, just because I can't. I can never get enough of fall Michigan. I think like living in the UP for as many years as I did, and then growing up there and coming down here, like fall is like kind of longer here,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time you don't realize it because it stays very warm through September, and then October it's like I just saw a map for the peak color, and like you guys up there are like your peak color like the first week of September. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
and like we won't have peak color here until like October. And so
Yeah.
but I
I'm
concur
already seeing.
completely with Dylan. Like hunting season, football season, hockey season starts late in September going into October. It's a chili. I do a chili cook-off every year, which we'll talk more about in the next episode. So it's a competition season for your boy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
I still got that dynasty going right now.
So
been
I'm
putting canned chili in crock pots for years.
so it's just like I love to hunt, I love to bird hunt, I love the colors, I love when it finally
fuck yeah,
cools
dude.
off. I love putting that first pair of jeans on, that first dusty pair of denim on for the year when it finally cools off enough. We're like, okay, I can be comfortable in pants. No more of this like getting stung by Labor Day bees in cargo shorts. Like I'm really excited for that. Summer second. Summer lasts a really long time down here, and for Dylan, summer will go on until December down in Louisiana, I'm sure.
Oh,
But same thing. Spring is second to last for me, in the number 3 spot, because it's just like I can golf. I mean, I'm golfing while you guys are still getting snowstorms up there.
Yeah.
So
we just
as
need
well
to move.
and then winter is just like it's just so there's just so few things. Michigan has so many like awesome things you could do outside the rest of the year except for in winter, because I don't ski, I don't snowboard. The most I do is snowshoe, and that's like I don't even get enough snow down here to do that, and I don't own a snowmobile anymore.
I was gonna say we don't
So-
snowmobile either, because I'm sure there's probably snowmobilers maybe listening that are like, oh my god, winter is number one. Like I got a
Yeah.
few people on the top of my head that I know that would pick winter as one just because snowmobiling is like such a big thing in their lives. But we don't do that. So
Sorry.
It's just winter is just very, very long in Michigan, and it's just dark. That's the worst part about it, is just the lack of. When I worked at Amazon before I got hired at my maintenance gig that I got going on, I would go to work at like 5:30, 6 a.m. Tony, you've been on this program for quite a few years now, and I would get out at like 6, and it's dark to dark. The only time I would see daylight is on the weekends, and it was just like, for people with seasonal anxiety, depression, I've not been clinically diagnosed, but I definitely feel that. I definitely feel the lack of vitamin D, and just like it just feels like it's dark for like 4 months out of the year, and it's just ridiculous. Like you get one sunny day and you're like, oh, it's beautiful outside. You go outside, it's -20. The sun is out and shining, but it's freezing. Like just miserable.
So it seems like fall is pretty high for us. So that's why I think next week will be a fun episode, because we can all kind of get into how we enjoy fall, and it is a great time of year for a lot of different reasons, and I'm really looking forward to it. But if you guys have anything else to chime in here,
Get your bird license. Go kill a partridge. There's a shit ton of them this year.
Yeah, it's a couple
Now
weeks
time to
away,
do it.
hey?
Big
Yeah.
big fucking days coming up.
Mm-hmm. But Aaron every year says he's gonna come up and bird hunt.
Never fucking does.
It's true, man. That is absolutely true.
I'm gonna come up and bird hunt this fall.
Oh,
Killed 2
hey,
birds.
I'm just
I
kidding.
so want to. Maybe this year's the year.
I'll get them for you.
That is funny. Well, that'll do it. Again, shout out to the YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at FAIF Hour. Again, head over to the YouTube. We have been getting more views on the videos, which is nice. Like I said, you can watch the Labor Day fire of 2008 in Ontonagon, and you can see our beautiful faces. And Chris shirtless. And he did whip his dick out earlier in the episode too. So if you want to see that,
I didn't.
head over to our
I
YouTube.
didn't. No, I didn't.
Shut up, Tony. No, he didn't.
Stop it. Stop it.
All right. Enjoy the weekend. Have a safe Labor Day. Do not drink and drive. I think this weekend until like September 15th is like international. I was looking at the days, which we were gonna do some days this Thursday, but
Sick, dude.
it's like Chicken Boy Day and something else, so we just skipped it. So have a safe Labor Day. Get a designated driver. Have fun. We'll recap it next week.
Love y'all.
Word. See you.
That'll do it.
Dude, I turned.
Thanks for listening to Failure at its finest hour.
I saw a dude. There was a dude ripping fucking pills in the back room one time.
Thanks for listening to Failure at its finest hour.
Oh yeah, side story. Remember when we drug all the equipment out of the basketball court behind that place and blew the lid off the town?
Thanks for listening to Failure at its finest hour.
Penguin. It was Penguin. Nice. Another perfect round.
Thanks for listening to Failure at its finest hour.
Distinctively remember getting thrown to the ground when that first one blew up.